Hello, I'm Tarja Nikula, professor at the University of Jyväskylä in Finland and one of the ADiBE team members. One of the aims of ADiBE is to foster dialogic CLIL classrooms, and a way to do this is through collaborative learning, which means students working and thinking together. For collaborative learning to work, it needs to be carefully planned. I'll now briefly describe an example of such planning, namely a cross-curriculum project for 9th graders on the topic of urban planning, designed by Seinäjoki Lyseo School, one of ADiBE partner schools. The project involved 4 subjects: art, geography, physics and English, and it started with a 2-step preparatory phase. First, there were introductory lessons in the 4 subjects to cover content and language relevant for the project. The next step was a so-called concept card activity, where students were working in groups to match concepts written on cards, such as infrastructure or sustainable community, with their definitions. The purpose of this activity was to make all students familiar with the key concepts and terminology in the CLIL language needed for the task. The main phase of the project was a full-day workshop, where students were divided into teams of 4 that stood for imaginary companies. Each student was assigned a role in these companies. The roles were those of the CEO, city architect, environment protection manager, and energy and transportation specialist. The group's task was to design a model for a future city. It had to include features of both the built and natural environment and energy and transport solutions, and show that these had been considered from the viewpoint of students' different roles. The groups also had to prepare a presentation to promote their plan and to present it to their classmates. Let's now move to the key question of how such collaborative learning activities can support diverse CLIL learners. A crucial element in this is that they can encourage student participation in various ways. Firstly, they require shared meaning negotiation and thus offer opportunities for peer support among students. Secondly, collaborative activities make it possible to use both everyday and academic language as resources for learning. Thirdly, both students' first languages and the CLIL language are available as resources for them to accomplish the task, which research has shown to be beneficial for learning. Finally, it's worth bearing in mind that collaborative learning obviously doesn't mean leaving students on their own. As this example has shown, careful planning is needed to build in supportive elements in the tasks, including teacher scaffolding. In this project, for example, the teachers were present throughout the workshop, ready to lend support whenever students expressed a need for it. Okay, to sum up, collaborative learning can be built into activities and tasks, and hopefully this example has offered some inspiration for how this can be done. You can find more detailed description of this project in the ADiBE materials bank.